I've accidentally come across somewhere called Kirby Muxloe Castle. I believe it's English heritage. I don't even know whether you have to pay to get in, but we'll have a look. And I'll give you a quick video of this. This is one just for you, mate. I've come to a castle. I hope you enjoy it. There you go. And I've talked to the tour man very nicely. He said he's going to talk to me about it, but he's going to talk to everybody about it. So hey, and thanks for subscribing, Tyler. Appreciate it. Well, I've got 15 minutes till the tour actually starts, so I'll just walk you a little bit round the end of it, the edge of it. It's actually a moated castle. Apparently this castle was never actually finished. So as you see it, might as well have been. As it was left. This castle was actually never finished.
Yes, it was.
So perhaps what you see is what you get, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to listen to the tour guide and have a walk around it. That's obviously the family. The Hastings family. That's the Hastings family. What's the word? Coat of arms. There. I'll say if you want to read it. Oh,
yeah.
Pause it there. I don't think I'll be videoing because there's kids around and everything, so but I'll just keep the camera low just so we can listen to the man talk, and when I get a chance I'll video it.
80. And prior to that there was a manor house, and you'll see what's left of that as we go around. The manor house was owned by his grandfather. So actually given to his grandfather, I think by his uncle maybe. But Sir Leonard and Sir William were both born here. Sir Leonard was William's father. But before I get into my bit of waffle, I've got a little bit of health and safety to go through, unfortunately. We did have a little bit of an incident here quite a few weeks ago. This is a Grade 1 listed building, which means that there are one or two things that you can't do. For instance, I can't drill a hole in the wall to put a coat hooker, hang my wet coat up on its way. And the nets that we put in over on the west tower to help with the kitchen problem. Most important, we can't find the nets. So kids, you see mum and dad climbing on there. On this side, the water is only about 18 inches deep. At the time of the restoration, it was dug out like a canal. It was about 5 feet deep. So you take 18 inches off 5 feet. What are you left with? An awful lot of what I can only describe as goose sediment. Highly, yeah, there's no way I'm going to go in. I will throw a live ring and a line, whether it's at you or to you, it depends on how stupid you are. But I will throw something in to help you, but I'm not going in now. Anyway, enough of the serious stuff. Let's get back to the waffle, shall we? So 1480, work started here. But the story with William Hastings really starts in 1461 at the Battle of Towton. Now, at Towton, that was the largest, bloodiest battle ever fought on English soil. I think it's something like 43 Lancastrian knights and lords lost their heads that day. But our William, he did quite well. He was actually in charge of a brigade of men, and he was knighted on the battlefield by his then 19-year-old young king Edward IV, who he was great friends with. He actually was brought up by Edward IV's father, the Duke of York, after William's father died in the battle. Leonard was killed in the battle. So they were great friends. So anyway, as I said, 1461, it turned out to be quite a busy year for him. He was summoned to Parliament under the title of Earl, and he was made Lord Chamberlain of the Royal Household, which basically means that you couldn't go to see the King unless you went through Lord Hastings. He also was made Master of the Mint, and that Master of the Mint, he did have a problem. There was a bullion shortage. People would buy the gold and silver coins in because we used just pure metals at that time for our coins, and then they would melt them down and sell them, make them into ingots, and then sell them abroad at a great vast profit. He decided to, for want of a better expression, water the pure gold and silver down with lesser alloys, pretty much like we make our coins today, and then that would stop them doing. We got quite a lot of stick for this. The people would be complaining about bad gold and bad silver, but who was complaining? The merchants that were buying them in, melting them down and selling them at a great profit. His king, however, apparently loved it. He said that he made his king £15,500 a year, which in the 1400s was a vast amount of money. So he was given, as part of the spoils of war, Ashby Castle, amongst other properties across the Midlands, and he was given permission to castellate his properties and make deer parks. To castellate means basically to fortify, to make into a castle. So he started work in 1474 at Ashby. He built a tower above the kitchens there. That's where he lived, so the heat from the fires would rise up through the floorboards and keep them nice and warm. He did some work on St Helen's Church, and at St Helen's Church, that's where Lord Hastings' wife is buried. She's Catherine Neville. She's the sister of Richard Neville. You'd know him as the Kingmaker from Warwick Castle. He also built a small family chapel there, and the Great Hastings Tower. So has anybody actually been, I know you have, you guys, have been to Ashby Castle?
Not for Fairview, not for Fairview. I've been, but not for Fairview years.
So you're familiar with the Hastings Tower. That's 75 feet high. The gatehouse that's behind us here, had this been finished, it's estimated it would have been 100 feet high. So to all intents and purposes, a medieval skyscraper.
Apparently that gatehouse, if it was going to be finished, would have been 100 foot high. That's impressive.
Of a medieval quadrangle castle, which basically means that there's a tower, one on each corner, and then they fill in the walls with a smaller structure in between. However, the gate is not a smaller structure, but it is considered a fine example of a medieval quadrangle castle. So as work progressed at Ashby and 1480 came along, they turned their attention here, and he had a steward called Roger Bowlett. Now Roger Bowlett was made Clerks of Works, so his job basically was to make sure that all the building materials were here on site when they were needed. So to solve part of that problem, he employed some guys from Belgium to come over, and they built the kilns to fire the bricks, some workshops to make the bricks, and also for the stonemasons, carpenters and the like. It's actually thought that the kilns were somewhere over in that corner of Kirby. But I don't think anybody really knows, to be honest. Most of the area has been built up, as you can see, so it's probably been covered up, whatever was left of those kilns at that time. Now a year later, John Cowper comes onto the scene. John Cowper was a master mason, and he did his apprenticeship at Eton in the 1450s, and he did quite a bit of work for the church. And while he was building a small church over in Tattershall in Lincolnshire, he saw the great Tattershall Castle. So is anybody familiar with that castle? If you can see pictures, go online, see pictures, and then compare it to what you see here today. There is a real similarity between the two buildings.
Drive past it, you can see it from the road as you drive through.
I've never actually been, to be honest, so I don't really know.
From the road.
It's on my list to go to places, only I've been here, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately at all, I've been here. Oh yes, John. Now John was known for a couple of things. So as you look around the castle, you'll see around the windows and around the gate, they're lined with stone, and then it's filled in with brick. And the other thing you'll notice is this patterning with the darker brick. It's known as diapering. If you look up onto the castle tower here, there's a jug. Now, I haven't been able to find out what the jug represents. We've had a couple of tours.
I don't know whether you can see up there, but there's actually a picture of a jug built in the brickwork.
On the other side, there's a ship. He was admiral of the fleet, so that's why the ships are. Above the gate, you'll see a stone frame. That's where his coat of arms would have been, and on the Hastings Tower in Ashby, there's a really good example of what that could have looked like. On either side of that, you'll see a W and what's left of the H in the diapering. There would have been an uppercase H. Unfortunately, we lost a bit over time, but sorry, it would have been an uppercase. Those two holes.
Towards this was actually a moated manor house, well, fortified house, and there's the door there where we can see where we're going in. This is where the drawbridge would have been, and the black that you can see in there, there's a special name for that, the man just says, but I can't remember.
So back in the 1800s, it was quite a thing to do when you came to visit an ancient monument like this, was to leave your mark. And this graffiti is everywhere around the castle. And you can normally see this stuff, and pick it out, I should say, because it's usually quite neat.
Some classic graffiti just here. This really interests me. 1874, I believe, or something like that, and you could tell there's been some time took over it. Some classic graffiti just here. This really interests me. 1874, I believe, or something like that, and you could tell there's been some time took over it.
The timbers where the repairs were done. These repairs were done in 1912, 1913, just prior to the First World War. If you look at the hinges, and then you look back this way, these here go there as well, and the hinges are exactly the same. That's why we think that maybe part of these are original. On this side, the window, this is the porter's office. It's now Amiga gift shop, my office, and back in the 70s it used to be a police station. Local Bobby was here, and the desk and the counter there is all left over from then. We had quite a bit of vandalism here apparently, and they stayed for 18 months, 2 years, killed the vandalism, and then they took the policemen away.
They've been vandalised since?
We get occasionally, as you can see, there's paint on the wall. Next to that is, which looks like I've forgotten to open it, I apologise that. So that means I haven't done the West Tower. We've been chasing geese most of the morning. That is the guard room. You'll see in there the big fireplace, isn't it? I don't know whether it's actually true, and I would imagine it would keep a lot more than just moths away, wouldn't it? There's another good piece of graffiti here. If you look up here, just before here, the stone starts to curl around. It's a couple of verses of the Bible. So really would have taken quite a while to do. I think we have a courtyard.
I don't know whether you can see this, but there's lots of graffiti on this wall. And there's actually some excerpts from the Bible. How the hell did they reach up there to Cathedral? That I do not know.
Go up into.
I'm not going to climb on these or over them because this is actually the foundations of the manor house that was built in the castle wall, and this actually is pre-Tudor. If that is the foundations, you can obviously see that it's pre-Tudor. There's no Tudor bricks in there at all. Going up the tower. I know you people like this. It's not that unsafe though. Pretty sturdy. But it's long.
Rivalry. See?
Because even higher. But I'm not sure whether we've allowed, so I'll just stop here.
This castle in Stokesay was owned and built by wealthy wool merchants around about the same time as this. So you see the recess on this wall here. This is where the portcullis would have been. When you look down, you'll see the little top part of there, that stone sticking out. The two holes, that's where the chains went.
Nice big fireplaces. Two fireplaces in this room.
Was actually built on. You can see that one because on this side there's just a big hole. There's also a guard rope on each side as well.
And that's the slot there for the portcullis.
You can see the guard rope shoots and then above it you can see where they started to build the ceiling.
Go and have a look at some medieval toilets. I don't know whether that sort of thing interests you, but it interests me. And that there is a medieval toilet which used to go straight down and into the moat. And not only that, they used to drink the water out of that moat as well. Hence, that's why they had a buttery here. They call it a buttery. It's actually where they made beer, because they used the water out of the moat to brew the beer. And there is the base of what was going to be other towers, I'm assuming. I don't know whether you can see it. I'll come out there. I have no intention of making a video, but here I am making one for you. The chimney of the other. In fact, I'm going to walk towards this fireplace. Gives you some idea of the size of the fireplaces. Really massive. Nice cosy warm room this would have been. And I believe that there is maybe another toilet. Goes straight down to the moat. Apparently as well, I didn't know this, glass was that expensive to make that when the castle owner left to go somewhere, he took the glass out with him and then boarded it up with wood. I didn't know that. Piece of useless information for you. Or useful, depending on which way you look at it. Because glass was so expensive to make.
To be honest, and we do get the detectors, which is a
Okay. Now we're going back down the stairs. On the tower on the other side of the portcullis. Okay, I've got to show you this. So that room that we was at, I told you all the medieval toilets were. Well, this actually is the business end. This is where you had to crawl in when you were 5 or 6 and clean it all out. Oh, a few Canadians there, look. Should be leaving us soon. And that way, I mean, you can see just under the tree there, it's to you as well, is a stream that actually feeds them out. Can you see the bricks? And this is obviously the, can't climb on the walls, base of the other towers, which I don't think were ever built. This is going to be a record tour now, because not sure what that was. Unless there's another toilet, I don't know. Now in the West Tower. And apparently, if you read there, it's the only part of the castle that was actually completed and has rooms and everything. I'm assuming this is where Mr. Hastings' mistress lived. I'm assuming that there is another medieval toilet. The side of this, 3 floors it had. Ground floor, second floor, and a 3rd floor. And the net is up there to stop the pigeons getting in. I don't know whether you can see the netting. Climb up another tower now. Wait till where? Thank you.
Okay.
And there's a view from this floor. More steps to climb. We will get to the top eventually. This here is the 3rd floor. One would assume it went up higher. Them stairs are no longer accessible. In fact, I would say it definitely went up higher. Give you some idea of the height. I think we're about 75 foot up here. don't even know whether we're allowed up here, Mark. There's an holes there, I don't know whether you can see, you can probably see them better from the other side, but there's an hole underneath that, this is where they had mini cannons. Okay, I'm going to end the video now, and thanks for watching.